And so we were like, just not happy with one another last night. I'm thinking, I've got all these things to do, why don't you do it? And he's thinking, well, I just did all these things today, why don't you do it? Married life sometimes. Hi friends, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. I have a special guest joining me today. It's coffee. Original plan for today's video was to sit down and talk to you guys about my career path, because let me tell you, there's been a lot of work there and different types of jobs and stuff. But then I was just perusing YouTube, and one of you guys actually suggested I watch this YouTuber, Valeria Lipovetsky. I think I've pronounced that right. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love her. She's lovely. She's so lovely. She's beautiful. She's a model. She's also a mother of 2 boys. I think youngish, like under 30. Anyway, stunning and beautiful accent and anyhow, but her messaging is so beautiful in all of her videos, and I was inspired. I watched one that she talked about motherhood and balance, and I just felt my yes, yeah, like I was just nodding my head the whole time watching it, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do like a reaction video or just my version of it. But basically, you know, talking about motherhood and how do you balance it all? You know, if you guys have been following along, just last week, I launched a company with my business partner, Joanna from Nesting Story, and we have launched into the land of consulting. And, you know, we've been in this space I've been in this space for 5 years, and Joanna just about that, and she's also blogging. Anyway, you guys know all of that. But, you know, it's just really interesting because this is probably the busiest time of my life ever. And it's also the most delicious time. And it's like, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. And, you know, how do you make it all work? I don't really have a plan for this video. It's just gonna be like a stream of conscious thought kind of deal. So let's just go for it. One of the things that popped out at me in Valeria's video is that she talked about this like hover parenting that's happening, this trend of helicopter parenting. And it's so true. That whole element of putting so much pressure on ourselves to entertain our children, to make sure that they're busy like every second of every day. I felt that stress and that need to entertain my kids and feel like I've got to be so present for every damn second. And I'm starting to ease off of that pressure on myself lately because of all of the things I have on my plate. You know, I am building a company. I am building my AmandaMuse brand and hoping that these things both work out really well because I'm so passionate about them. I am, you know, running a household. I have a husband, I've got 2 children. I am also a person who has family and friends and all of these things. And it's kind of crazy. So my dad, years and years ago, we were talking about how my aunt had taken on an MBA. And one of the lessons that this MBA taught them is that they might give you 15 tasks, but you only have time to complete 10, and you have to prioritize and figure out which 10 are the most important that are gonna get you to the next level kind of deal. And so that always resonated with me because I feel like it can be applied to so many areas of our lives. Like, you know what? Right now, I could list out 10 things that I need to be doing aside from making this video. This is number 11. But you know, there's a bunch of stuff that always needs to be done. And I feel like in parenting and in motherhood especially, it's being able to figure out which ones are the priority and which ones you can take off your list. So there's that piece, right? It's always figuring out what's most important. And I guess that relates to this whole hover parenting and like feeling all this pressure to entertain our children, because sometimes that's on the list is like, oh, I need to be doing arts and crafts with the kids, or I need to be doing that with the kids. And it's like, they can also learn to entertain themselves, and that is a skill. That's not to say that you're not going to do those fun things with them, but I think it's okay to pick and choose. I don't remember doing full-on crafts at home as a kid. No memory. I don't think it ever happened. I think that's what I thought school was for, you know? And I turned out okay. And I think that sometimes we're like, we have to, you know, I talk a lot about boundaries in friendships and relationships, but I think there's also like, for ourselves, we have to create realistic expectations about what we can actually accomplish in our roles. And we carry many roles, like we wear many hats, right? And one of the things that really struck a chord with what she said in her video, and I will link this video below, by the way, and I'll also tag it, link it, tag it, you know what I'm talking about. click the eye. But she said, you know, our children will always remember how we made them feel. And that was like, I preach this all the time, but it's funny when you hear somebody else say it and how it makes you feel in the context of the video. But I thought about, like, I just got an example in my brain about running around trying to make sure you do this art project with your kids, whether it's painting or glue or whatever. And let's say the whole time you're stressed out because you're like, I just want to get this task done. You're supposed to be having fun. Like, everybody just participate. Then there's the mess. Maybe you're panicking about how much mess is involved. And all of a sudden you realize, like, no one's having that much fun, or they're not having as much fun as they could be having. And it's so important, I think, to set ourselves up for success in our roles as mothers. And also realize that our role as mothers, like, as long, you know, I know that we will be mothers forever. That's obviously, it's a lifelong commitment, but it's not always going to be the most important thing on our plate. And if it isn't the most important thing on your plate, like right this second, like let's say you're building a company like yours truly, or maybe your marriage needs some work and you really got to focus your attention on that, and motherhood takes a back seat. I mean, that might sound weird because obviously you're still making sure your children are fed, like all the basic needs are being met. I'm talking about going above and beyond. But it's true. Like, sometimes we just gotta stop and like reevaluate and reassess, and are we happy? Is our family happy? And sometimes the thing that is causing the root of the unhappiness might be ourselves, and to figure out, like, how can we make changes to better the situation, you know? Just as an example, last night, oh God. So last night, my husband and I maybe had some tense words because the laundry is out of control. And the laundry, I've always done it, from cleaning, folding, and putting it away. I don't know. Because, I will tell you, I shouldn't say I don't know. I do it because I'm really particular about where things go, and if I'm gonna spend the time to fold it, I wanna put it away nicely, so I do it. I've always done it. I stopped doing it this week and last week and the week before. Like, I'm getting all the laundry clean, but it's not quite making it to like the folding section, and it's not making it into drawers, and it's causing a lot of upset because nobody has clothes. And it's like, it's amazing how one cog in the wheel, is that what you call it? It just affects everything. And so we were like, just not happy with one another last night. I'm thinking, I've got all these things to do, why don't you do it? And he's thinking, well, I just did all these things today, why don't you do it? Married life sometimes. Anyway, all of that to say is that I realized this morning I had a big to-do list, but I put it on the back burner because I thought it's not the end of the world. I can do it later today and tomorrow. But if I don't organize my family's house, like our house, and if I don't organize my family, it's gonna come off the rails. And then if that comes off the rails, the trickle effect, right? So I don't think that balance is an appropriate word for trying to determine like how to handle motherhood. I feel like it's more reprioritizing and just shifting things here and there that you know can wait, and like put a delay on that one, put that one to the forefront. So there's that whole element, right? And then the other piece of motherhood that I thought was so important for the message that she was sharing, and that I'm like, yes, I preach this. This is like my life. You know, this is what I love to participate in and be around people who think this way, is to uplift and support other women and mothers. What is so nice about supporting women choosing to lead their best life, you know, if that means putting yourself first, yes, of course, you're taking care of the needs of your family, but you're not forgetting about yourself. And to encourage that thought process and be motivated by women who are making a difference and doing things and lifting, uplifting, right? Is it's only gonna come back to you. And it might not come back to you right away, but, oh, hi, baby. Hi, little guy. But setting the example for yourself, for your peers, and for your children, that it's okay to make yourself a priority, and that it's amazing to go after your goals, but that in doing so, there's parts of yourself that you might feel disappointed in because you're just not able to keep up with everything. And I think the whole message I have today, and it might even be a message for myself while I'm editing this, like, take your own advice, is like, you can't be doing everything well all the time, but it's important to stop and evaluate and assess your situation and like give back to yourself, make yourself a priority, go after your dreams, go after your goals, because at the end of the day, when I have lived my full life and I'm looking back on what I accomplished, I think about that piece, that motherhood piece, I just, whoop. but when I'm having this moment here and he's stealing it with the marbles, but when I look back on how this went down, am I really gonna be like, oh, I wish I put that laundry away quicker? No, I'm gonna be glad that I went after my dreams and I tried to make a go of something, or I stopped and jumped on the trampoline every now and then, or I just sat and listened. Like today, you know what my big accomplishment was today? I taught Esme how to have a shower on her own, wash her hair, shampoo, condition, just get her done. Because my kids, you know, some kids that can be sensitive to getting water in their eyes, and she did it. And she's so proud of herself. And honest to God, I feel like nothing else could happen today, and I just had the best day ever. This is probably one of the most unstructured videos I've ever made. But I just felt compelled to just talk to you guys and just, you know, keep killing it. Like, it's no joke to be a mother, to have those selfless moments, and then the switch when you go from being a selfless person to then remembering that you still exist and making yourself a priority. That's a very hard switch. Yeah. Oh, God. Eating rocks for lunch? So I guess with Mother's Day around the corner, I just wanted to send a message to say, like, what may look like it's perfect on the outside is not perfect, and everyone is just trying their best. Anyway, happy Mother's Day. Keep fighting the good fight. We're all in this together. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Can you say bye? Do not say bye. No.
Bye.
No, don't say bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.